Brittney Griner is back in a Russian court today after pleading guilty to drug charges last week. The WNBA star and two-time Olympic gold medalist did not take the stand as expected, but character witnesses did testify on her behalf. Griner has said she wants to plead guilty. She had no intention, she says, of breaking Russian law and didn't mean to pack vape cartridges with hashish oil in her luggage. Now the Biden administration is coming under increasing pressure to bring Griner home, as she could face a sentence of up to 10 years in a Russian prison. Senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell joins me live now, along with White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks and ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer for more. Ian, what do we know about these character witnesses who testified today, and what did they have to say?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's important to remember this trial has been going on for weeks now, and this was the third hearing and only lasted a number of hours. But I think important character testimony. Firstly, we heard from Maxim Rybakov. He's the director of UWMC. That's the Russian basketball club in the city of Ekaterinburg, for which Griner played in the WNBA off-season. He was the first witness. What he said was that Griner is, quote, an outstanding basketball player. He said that she had a break in January, and that's why she'd gone back for the US. And I think this is important because he also said that she had planned to come back in February. Now, clearly, if this had been willful in some way, that would perhaps suggest that, she wasn't going to come back. She wouldn't have carried these vape cartridges through. But that certainly would seem to be the intent, saying, look, she liked Russia. She came to Russia. She was leaving to go back to the US in the off-season, but she was going to come back anyway. He also said that despite the US notification to Americans not to travel to Russia, remember, she was arrested 1 week after the start of the war, that she came back because she was feeling confident. The second witness was the team doctor, Anatoly Galibin. And what he said was at the beginning of February, Griner had mild coronavirus, said that she had had a number of these doping tests that all the players go through, that she'd never tested positive while playing for the team. The third witness was Yevgenia Belyevikov, and this was a fellow teammate. She said she'd known Brittney for 7 years and described Brittney as the leader of the team. Diane?
Brian, it sounds like this is kind of the equivalent of the U.S. sentencing portion of a trial. Brittney Griner already pleaded guilty. So how important is it to hear these people come and testify to her character, and how important is it for her to take the stand?
I would think it's extremely important, because what a judge or anyone else wants to see is the connection of the dots. We've already heard these initial character witnesses kind of paint the picture of who Brittney Griner is. What a judge would want to see, whether it be a sentencing phase in America or what we're seeing play out in Russia, is her testimony connecting the dots, showing the leadership that her teammates have said that she has showed on the court and off the court, and also, for lack of a better phrase, her kind of throwing herself on the sword, saying, yes, I brought these hashish oils. I didn't intend to do it. I didn't knowingly commit this crime, but this is who I am, and this is what I need out of you.
So, Mary Alice, veteran negotiator and former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson is headed to Moscow trying to secure Griner's release. What's the strategy there, and what could a potential deal look like?
Yeah, Dan, I think it's important to remember that U.S. officials are highly skeptical that Griner is going to get any semblance of a fair trial. It's just not what they expect in Russia's court. It's not what they what they're worried about. They're worried is that she is being treated, that she's been wrongfully detained, that she could be treated as a political hostage, that this is all just a big stunt for Putin, for the politics of this moment. And so they are trying to put all hands on deck here. They're saying that they are working as aggressively as possible to secure her release. If in fact she doesn't get, if she's found guilty, if she's sentenced, they want to make sure that they're continuing any negotiations regardless and separate from this trial. Bill Richardson, he has experience with this kind of really sensitive and delicate negotiations. He helped he reportedly helped with the negotiations of the release of the former Marine Trevor Reed, who was a part of that prisoner exchange just back in April. I think there's a lot of questions, a lot of wonder about whether we could really be looking at another possible prisoner exchange in this case. And of course, the White House saying not only is he going to negotiate on behalf of her, but also Paul Whelan, another American that the U.S. has said is wrongfully detained.
Now, Ian, Brittney Griner's been detained for nearly 5 months now. LeBron James is now just the latest person to try to address how challenging and how difficult that must be for her. She's 6'9", so what do we know about the conditions where she's being held?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are two key points. The first one is the general notoriety of Russian prisons. They are notorious for being very difficult places where there is violence, where there is mistreatment, where there is disease, where there are unsanitary conditions. We've heard from other high-profile Russian political prisoners who've been detained in these prisoners, and frankly, they sound like hellholes. Now, we haven't heard that from Griner. What she said, there was this letter, this draft letter that appeared on Independence Day, July the 4th, in which she said, "I'm terrified I might be here forever." But I think, interestingly, she didn't describe her conditions as being appalling in the way that we've heard testimony from other prisoners in other prisons. And there's no suggestion that she's been mistreated. But, of course, as Mary Alice says, the Biden administration saying not only that she has been wrongfully detained, but that she is held under, quote, intolerable conditions.
Now, Brian, Griner could face up to 10 years in a Russian prison, which, given Ian's context, adds even more gravity to that. So how does the legal system there work? What are the chances of her getting a reduced sentence?
So the legal system is a lot different than what we have in the United States, which is an adversarial system. If someone's accused of a crime, that person has a defense attorney who's not really a part of the system, but is actually fighting against it for the best interest of their client. Very different here in Russia. It's more of a gathering of information type situation, but that gathering of information is in large part led by the government. And part of the reason why she's pleading guilty is because of that ability to negotiate an exchange between her or another Russian detainee or Russian incarcerated person in the United States. And so when you think about the chances of her actually winning, Russia has a 99% conviction rate. They don't typically have people get acquitted or have lower sentences, but this is the best hope based on what she's doing now.
99% conviction rate. All right, Ian Panel, Mary Alice Parks, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you all.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.